Well, Lisa, Argo is Ben Affleck's third film as a director. I had The Town on my 10 best list 2 years ago, but I have to say I think
chosen.
Yes, I think this is Affleck's most exciting movie yet. It's set in 1979 and 1980 during the Iran hostage crisis, and it is at once a deadly serious political drama and a wildly entertaining caper movie. Affleck tells the extraordinary true story of 6 Americans who fled the U.S. Embassy and ended up hiding out in the home of the Canadian ambassador. The CIA decides they've got to get the Americans out of the country or they could be found out and executed in the streets. And so a CIA operative, played by Affleck, comes up with the best bad plan he can, which is that the 6 Americans will pretend to be a Canadian film crew scouting locations for a bad Hollywood sci-fi movie called Argo. They put the plan into action, and the result is a movie that's like Ocean's 11 crossed with Munich. It is a lot of fun, and yet what I love about Argo is that those two aspects of it always work together. Caper movie is always tied to this very real tension and dread that you feel because of this paradigm-shifting political situation of the Iran hostage crisis.
Well, I agree with you completely about its being Ben Affleck's best movie, and also I'm really excited to see what a good director Ben Affleck is becoming. With each movie, I think he's better and better. What I loved about this movie, and I'm with you on thinking it's absolutely terrific, it's set in 1979 during the hostage crisis, and all of the details feel right.
Absolutely.
They work with it in a very realistic way, in the pacing and the timing as much as anything else. Chris Terrio wrote this screenplay. It is, on one hand, almost a takedown or a kind of deconstruction of movie making, and it's very funny about movie making in the midst of being an absolute nail-biter, as you say, of an action movie, and how those two things are woven together so that on the one hand you're laughing, and on the other hand, even though you know what the end of the story is, you're gripping your arms of the chair in order to wait to make sure that everything works out.
Absolutely. And, you know, it reminded me that some of the movie really is funny, but like a lot of the great movies of the 70s, like Dog Day Afternoon,
yes,
they had
70s.
A comic aspect. They weren't comedies, but you were laughing at the tension. This movie works in that way. And you're exactly right. They get the details so right, from the costumes, the look of the rooms.
The tone, the color,
That's right.
of brown.
And the actors playing the Revolutionary Guards in Iran, we're on the American side, but the Iranian characters are humanized so that we understand where they're coming from.
And also, I just wanted to say Ben Affleck as an actor, too, with his terrible 70s hair that he has to put on, he does a very lovely and sort of set-back job of that, against 2 fabulous performances, I'd say, by Alan Arkin and John Goodman. Alan Arkin plays the producer of this cockamamie movie, and John Goodman plays a makeup special effects artist who has been brought in also to help get everybody into costume in order to get them out of here. They're great.
Alan Arkin is just, I think this is the funniest of the recent great run of performances that he's had. He's just great. I think Bryan Cranston playing Affleck's CIA boss back at Langley is kind of furiously heroic in his way. But ultimately, I think Argo is a movie that captures a certain reality of what happened in 1979, how the whole world changed, America's relationship to the Muslim world. And that's so relevant now. It's really, that was the birth of the world we're in now. And this movie allows you to touch those tensions in a way that is very exciting, eye-opening. I think it proves that a topical movie, a relevant movie, can be fun, can be enthralling.
And I think it's going to be a movie that we're going to be hearing more about as the year rolls on, and I think it's going to be on a lot of people's favorite movies of the year.